Alright, Emperor's Children. I actually played this Legion. This was my first Legion I started before Heresy with, and we're going to talk about Fulgrim and go over stats, his strength and weaknesses in the first Shredder. So, not first Shredder, but the first Shredder in chronological order for the Legions. So, third Legion, Fulgrim. Movement 8, weapon skill 8, ballistic skill 6, strength 6, toughness 6, wound 6, initiative 8, attack 6, leadership 10, save 2+. He has the guided Penelope, the Blade of Lair, the Firebrand, frag grenades. He has special rules: Legion of Serious Emperor's Children, Master Legion Bulky 6, Sudden Strike 1, Crusader Tactical Excellence, Sublime Swordman Traitor, Sire of the Emperor's Children. So, Sire of the Emperor's Children, he may choose to have one, either Firebrand or the Lair Blade. He can't use both. The Lair, whatever. Lair Blade. People call it Lair. I call it Lair. All friendly monsters with Sire of the Emperor's Children that can draw line of sight of Fulgrim may use his characteristic for morale checks, penny checks, and are required to take all friendly units comprised of models with Legion's Emperor's Children special rule. While Fulgrim is on the battlefield, they gain +1 to calculating for win. So basically, this one, from what I understand, does stack with the Vexilla. So technically speaking, you could take him and Vexilla and you get +2 to winning combat. Even if you lose combat, you can theoretically swing the combat in your favor, which is actually not bad. Either they forgot to say that it doesn't stack, or they just straight up just didn't put it in there. It's really nice, and it's kind of one of those things that's kind of this is like a warning to anyone who's building Emperor's Children. If you're thinking about building Emperor's Children Legion and you're going to conclude Fulgrim and you're going to start putting in a bunch of Vexillas, just be aware that this might be something that gets errated, and it might be a little annoying to have all these extra Vexillas in your army that don't exist, that you're paying points for, that you don't really necessarily even want. Not that it's bad to have a Vexilla, but just be aware from an army building's perspective. Yeah, so he also makes it so that the first reaction that's made with each game turn, he and his unit does not take up a point for any reactions. That means so for each game turn, so that means that for every turn that happens, any reaction that his unit takes does not count towards the allowance for reactions. So that means that they want to return fire, they can return fire, and it doesn't cost you anything. And you can still return fire with another unit. You can fire and fade, you can do the shroud thing, you can do all that stuff for free, which is fantastic. I would say that Fulgrim as a Primarch for the 425 points you're getting a lot of value out of here. Is he a must take? Absolutely not. I don't think that Fulgrim is a good take in most situations, to be honest with you. He's a lot of fun and he's a great duelist Primarch, but he's not like an auto-include by any means, and competitively speaking, I don't think he's ever going to get his full points back. So, the Emperor's Children just don't need it. They just don't need what he's bringing. They have plenty of punch in combat, and they have great special units too. Well, not great, they're good. Good special units, not great, they're good. Usable. Usable special units. So anyway, let's go through his armor and his war gear. So the Guild Penelope has a full 2-up save, 3-up vulnerable save, and 4 guns upon all. So yeah, he has a 3-up vulnerable save in melee attacks and a 4-up vulnerable save against non-melee attacks. Again, this is very good because generally speaking, you're only going to want to take that vulnerable save once he's in combat anyway, and he's in combat with other Primarchs. Having a 3-up vulnerable save at weapon skill 8 is where you want to be, because at least you're hitting on 4s, they're hitting you on 4s, you're getting a 3-up save. They're generally not. There's not a lot of Primarchs that have a 3-up vulnerable save. There's only a handful, and he's one of them. He's one of the only duelists that have weapon skill 8 that have a 3-up vulnerable save. So, very good. When a Fulgrim makes melee attacks as part of the challenge, he gains a number of attacks equal to the difference in his initiative. Now, this is a very good rule. He has initiative 8, so that means that against most Primarchs, he's at least 1 or 2 better, meaning that he's going to 7 or 8 attacks, depending on the Primarch. And challenges against other characters, or even if he's not in the challenge with other characters, he's getting a lot of extra attacks. So against like a sergeant, he's getting 4 extra attacks, which means he's great at tearing through like just basic infantry, he could just tear through them no problem. Yeah, so it's a good rule. I like it. It's really fluffy too. Makes sense in general. Just to have firm initiative better, you're just getting extra attack. Really cool. Tactical excellence he has. Now this is an interesting one, and this is kind of what sets Fulgrim apart from a lot of other stuff in the game. And once per battle, this is basically a once per battle thing. Fulgrim and single player may declare for the rest of that phase that whenever an enemy unit tries to make a reaction against him and his unit, they have to pass a leadership test. Now, this might not sound all that great, and it's really not super great, but it is an extra little trick you have in the whole to be like, hey, I'm going to activate once per game, no reactions against me at the start of the phase, and let's say you're trying to get in range to charge with his unit, and you move, let's just say, like 7.5 inches away. They have to take a leadership test to even try to react to fall back, which is really good, right? This is a very strong reaction, a very strong ability to have, just to be able to, even though it's only a small chance, if their leadership only 8, which is common, they're going to fail like 30% of the time. So 30% of the time, you can just turn off reactions for everything that even tries to react to them. It's not just like this unit, it's everything that they could possibly move towards. So, thumbs up, this is really good. We need more of this. There needs to be more of this stuff across all the books, across everything. These kind of rules are what this edition needs. I was hoping to see more of this directly across the board. Like every army would have something similar to this, of this nature. This should be like an upgrade on like a sergeant. That's how common this should be. Just to make the game more interesting and also make it so there's a little bit more counterplay in the reactions. Anyway, so the Blade of Lear is Strength User, AP2, Melee, Duelist Edge, Fleshbang, Mastercrafted Specialist Weapon. And then Firebrand is Strength +1, AP2, Melee, Murder, Strength 5+, Mastercrafted Specialist Weapon. And then his pistol is basically a Strength 6, AP4 pistol with 2 shots and it has Shred and Flag Right. Like it's trash. You're never going to use this pistol. If you don't ever remember to use it in any game, it's probably never going to change the outcome of any game you can play. So don't worry about it. But of the 2 weapons, it's a really tough decision because it really depends on what you're going to do with him. Because it's done at the list building step and not like before you see your opponent's army step, I lean towards the Blade of Lear. One, because he's modeled with it, and secondly, because Firebrand, while being significantly better in the right situations, if you're bringing Fulgrim, you're generally going to use him to fight other Primarchs, or you're going in with the intent that you're going to fight other Primarchs, because that's what this guy is designed to do, right? He's designed to fight other Primarchs, and the Blade of Lear has Fleshbane, which, excluding Thorn, basically means that you're going to win on 2s. It's also Mastercrafted as well, so that means it's hitting, he's hitting on weapon skill 8, which means you can reroll one of those hits, and you're hitting on 2s to all those attacks, and you're getting a lot of attacks with him because, generally speaking, some of the Primarchs only have initiative 6. So, you're getting 2 extra attacks, so you're at 8 attacks. It's a good place to be. Being only strength 6, going to 7 is okay, but you're only going to be moving on 4s. So that means you go from you're literally saying no to half the hits, right? You're going from winning on 4s to winning on 2s. It's pretty rough. Well, maybe theoretically there's Primarchs that can win on 3s, but again, the Primarchs that you're going to be fighting, generally you're going to be winning on 4s. Plus you get Duelist Edge 1 as well. So, it sort of makes sense. You know what I mean? For him to use this weapon instead. But hey, if you like Firebrand and you want to use him to chew through infantry and dreadnoughts and stuff, I say go at it. You know, it's not the best option, but it's there. It's more along the lines for elite infantry killing. That's what this weapon is for. But the Lure Blade is the better choice, in my opinion. Just because Murder Strike 5 is nice and is good, but Fleshbane is just so much better. Like Flesh Bane is just so much better. Even if you are playing against Dreadnoughts, you know, it's not like he can't deal with them. You could put him with units that he can deal with. That's not really what this guy's really meant to do. He's not really meant to kill Dreadnoughts. He's meant to kill other... He's meant to go into combat and duel people. That's what this guy is. He's a duelist. So it's similar to the other duelists where, you know, you're going to stick him with again, in a Spartan, march him across the field and see what happens. That's kind of what he's going to be doing. In terms of what units you put him with, the Phoenix Terminators are interesting because they're not the slower Terminators. They're not heavy, they can run. So this is one of those odd situations where it's really up to you. They are both pretty good. The spears are strength plus 2, AP3, rending, and breaching, or murder strike and breaching on a 6. And both can take the same exact weapons. So it doesn't really matter too much which you choose to take. I personally feel like the Tartarus, I feel like the Terminator squad in this case is actually a bit better, unless you want to take like a lot more of Palatine Blades. I think you can take them in larger squads. Oh no, it goes to 5, yeah. So yeah, no, I would say just take the Phoenix Terminator squads. They're going to be the best thing to take with him in almost all scenarios. They look amazing too. They're fantastic ones. I have 10 of them and I love them. They're gorgeous. They were definitely better in the previous edition, but they still have quite a big purpose. They're not bad. They're okay. They're not like when you're in there with fighting other duelist Primarchs, Honor Guard or Battle Bodyguard. They hold their own on the first round of combat, and they generally almost all die. But they take quite a few enemies with them. And to be honest, they're really not very expensive. They're only 35 points a guy, so for 35 points is a pretty good deal. They're the same price as a regular Terminator, but they have the Phoenix Spear and their weapons go 5. I mean, what more do you really want? You know, you're paying this. This is one of the few Primarchs where he's a duelist that can stand with the best of them, and his bodyguard are cheap, right? Like they're very cheap for what they are. Right. They also moved in 7th, so they're not really slowing them down all much. And yeah, they go to they get to go first. That's the other big thing, right? Is they get to always go first, whether they charge or not. Basically, with these spears, well, they're almost always getting charged, but especially if you're in a Spartan, right? Excuse me. So. Yeah. I wish I could say more about Fulgrim. There really isn't, like, he's not a kind of build-around kind of Primarch. He's literally just take him, if you want him. Again, if you were playing super competitively, I don't think you want to take him. You have other things that can do what he does. Again, he's never going to get anywhere near back his 225, 425 points. Like, even though he is on the cheaper, he's probably the cheapest duelist Primarch. But he's kind of neither here nor there, right? He's not required by any means. But again, if you like him, that's how I recommend you run him. There really isn't a lot of other ways to run him. Obviously, you can put him on foot if you want to be super risky. Side note, the Palatine Blade lost their jump packs, and mine are all modeled with jump packs. So what's that all about, GW? Like, what am I supposed to do with these guys now? Just like use them as command swaps now? It's pretty disappointing because they're expensive models and they don't. I had to convert them all with jetpacks. So anyway, that's it for Fulgrim, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one.